Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jana, and I want to welcome you to day 6 of Vlogmas. It is about to be day 6. It's late at night. I have my fur babies with me. If you know Ginger, she's down here playing, so if you hear something going on, it's Ginger, and it will all make sense. Today, on the Advent calendar, I had said to you in vlog 5, after the teddy bear, I had looked over and I got a little emotional there, and I wanted to share with you before I go to sleep this evening. It is quite cool. It's getting colder here in El Paso, and I'm wearing tonight is the shawl that Ray had gotten me from Kuwait. So it's really helping me, keeping me warm. So he can see it on me. So when he comes back, it'll be too warm to wear it, so he actually can see me wearing it. So I do wear it. I do wear what you have sent me. I'm so very honored. I hope everyone had a very, very good day today, and it's, how many more days? It's 20 more days till Christmas, and the excitement that these little young ones are having. And I don't know if you're the type of parent who puts the presents underneath the tree that has the names on them, and the kids are able to say, oh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4, you have 5. Mom, do you love me less? I came down to a point when my children were growing up is that I didn't put names on their presents. What I had done is I had wrapped DJs all one style, one gift wrap, and I had wrapped, and my daughter Sydney, all one gift wrap. So I knew who belonged to what, and they couldn't tell if one got more than the other. And believe me, they always balance, because they always would, that would be something they would debate about. They're my babies. So, and today's Advent calendar today, it is a very, very, this whole season, this whole 2018, we're almost ending this year, has been the most fulfilling, most, get to the point, JJ. What I'm trying to say is this, me utilizing this Advent calendar is really helping me to end this year, and I'm so happy of where I'm at this point in my life. I'm happy. I am finally can say I'm happy for who I am as an individual. And believe me, it has taken time. A long time. Today is a very special one for me. And it's going to answer a lot of your questions why I say the things that I say. And it is the angel. If you're able to see that, hopefully it'll focus in for you. Hopefully that you can see that. And I love angels. I've always loved angels, and there's always a saying, I always call everybody angel. Some have heard the story, and some have heard haven't heard the story. I will be sharing with you a little bit of it, why I call people angel, and why I say happy birthday, angel. Through the calendar so far on day 6, I was going through as in what the different items that we're putting on the tree for the Advent calendar, what they represent. And the angel has always been considered the messenger, and the messenger between, sometimes we don't hear him, and we are sent a message in many different ways. It could be someone saying something to you. It could be a complete stranger. It could be a family member. It could be your spouse. It could be your best friend. It could be something you're reading. It could be some music that you're listening to, but you're getting a message. And I always felt in my heart it's from they're doing God's work kind of situation. Now, this is not a somber, a sad story. It is a very, very beautiful and honorable situation. And it's not a story. It's real. It actually happened. And why I call everybody angel. So I had shared with you on day 3 about when my father was dying. And when I had, you have to go back and see the vlog. I don't want to ruin it. It's a very special message. During that afternoon before he had passed, he had visitors come through and visited him. Now I'm going to go back a little bit, and what the message, the story is that my parents had gotten divorced when I was young. I think I was about 6, 7. I don't remember the exact time frame, but I was about 6, 7. So I really never knew my dad, and it wasn't because of what my mother had done or what she had said. It's just the way how things had worked out. I'm not angry, I'm not resentful, it's just things sometimes happen the way they happen, and I'm at terms with them at today. You know, yes, there was a point I was angry with my mother. Yes, there's a point I was angry with my father, but I had to grow up. I had to realize and remember they too are human. They too were going through their own journey. They too had to make decisions that me as a child or as a young adult I might have not agreed with. Okay. So I was able to spend the last 5 days with my dad when he was dying in the hospital. I was very, very blessed to have that opportunity. I was blessed to get to know a man that I never knew. I really never knew who Charles Edward was. I never knew who he was and why he irritated me the way he was, and why his cowboy movies bothered me the way they bothered me. How strong-willed and hard-headed the man he was. It just irritated me. The day people would come and visit him and say goodbye. And Dad was a bricklayer. He was a mason. He would lay down bricks and he would build, and he did some beautiful work there in Omaha. Beautiful work. And he worked at a school, and he helped build Bellevue West. I think it was Bellevue West. And if anyone's listening to this, and if it's a family member, please, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I do not want to dishonor my father at all. So a lot of his people who he had worked with, his friends, would come up and visit him, and I would sit back and I would listen to the stories. Would they be sharing back and forth, and they always came to a consensus. Majority, every one of them came to a consensus, as in, you know, Chuck, one thing that I really thought was really neat about you is that you call everyone angel. Called everyone angel. And I just sat there and just listened and listened and listened. I've always liked angels before that, but I never really knew the connection between that and my father. I was getting a message of what was happening here. So, as being there for 5 days, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any clothes, clean clothes, and I was hungry. I was surviving on coffee and cigarettes. That's all I was surviving on. I had a cousin come up, and I apologize. I don't remember his name. I don't want to say it wrong. He offered to go buy me something to eat. I was afraid to leave my father, not knowing what was going to happen. So the sisters, my aunts, would say, I had Aunt Shirley there, I had Aunt Bart there. Uncle Francis was there. We'll be with them. You'll be fine. We'll call you if anything happens. We'll call you. So I went downstairs and I had this sandwich. I don't remember what I ate, but I do remember it tasted so good. But I felt guilty because my father had eaten. He stopped eating. His body was shutting down. It was nice to get away just for 5 minutes, but I was still that guilt. I need to get back upstairs to Daddy, to Papa. So we go upstairs, and I thanked him for doing that for me. It was very, very well needed. Not knowing what I was about to walk into. I walk in the waiting room, and I sat down with my sister, and there was a discussion happening. And out of nowhere, I hear someone yell, "Get the girls." And I got up and I just ran. And I ran to his room, and believe it or not, he was sitting in a chair, and he had passed, and I fell to my knees. I said, "Papa, I'm so sorry I wasn't there, I'm so sorry." They had already taken off his monitors. They knew. We just didn't know when. And the staff comes in, and they had touched me on the shoulder and said, "We need to put your father in bed." And I said, I'm going to help. I'm going to help lift him. So we lift him into the bed, and we lay him down, and I drop to my knees, and I'm praying, and I'm just praying, and I'm praying, and I look up, and I see my uncle and my aunts, and I just feel for them. I feel so much for them. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they just lost a brother. And I said to my sister, I said, why don't we leave him alone with his siblings, because, you know, they've been with him much longer than we have. Let them say their goodbyes. We did. We left the room. I left the room, and there was arrangements made that we're going to come back and discuss with the nurse of what's going to happen with this, you know, with Papa after this had happened. And both Mary and I, we went our separate ways to go smoke. And so what I did is I had gone down to, I don't know why or what came over me, but I went into the gift store, and there was an ornament. And there's, in the beginning of my videos, there's an ornament of an angel hanging in the tree. It's almost flat, and it almost looks just like that. And that was one just like it was in my father. I had put in his cassock for him. So I got done smoking, you know. Went back up to make the arrangements, and I went, and no one was around. I thought that was odd. I thought it was really, really odd that no one was around. So I went and asked for the head nurse, and she said, oh, things have already been taken care of, and you know, you can just you can go. I go, is he still in the room? And they go, yeah, he's still in there. And I go, may I? And she said, yes, you may. Not knowing if anyone's in there, I didn't want to be disrespectful. I had walked up to the door, and the door was closed. And at the floor of the door was a rose. And the rose was given from the hospital. It was a fake rose. But I have it today, and it's downstairs. And it just remembrance from the hospital to the family. And I had picked it up. So I just opened the door to see if anyone's in there, because I didn't want to be disrespectful, or if they wanted to spend some time with Dad before they had taken him. No one was in there, exception Papa. So I walked in. The temperature of the room was so much different. The energy was so much different. The warmth, the smell. I walked over to him and I had said, it's our last conversation we'll have together, Papa, together. And I thanked him. I thanked him for being my father. I thanked him for doing everything he had done for me and for the family. And I had said to him, I go, I will promise you one thing, Dad. I am your daughter. So I will never, ever able to ever carry on your name, the last name, because customly you pick your husband's last name. But one thing I do promise you, Papa, everybody I run into, I will call him Angel in honor of you. I said the Our Father. I prayed over him. I kissed him. I held his hand. I said my goodbyes. Since that day, my life has, chapters of my journey has been so different. Good and bad, and tears and laughter and sorrow and anger. But I've always kept to my word. And I remember I had worked for a company, and I was brought into the office, and I was sat down, and they go, Jonna, we need to talk to you. Someone has complained about you. And I'm thinking, what could I have done, you know? And they go, they really don't want you to call them Angel anymore. and my heart just broke. I never really cried or wailed for my father's death until that day. I felt at that moment it was taken away from me of what I promised my father. And I left that room and I had said to myself, I might have upsetted somebody. I might have, due to religion or due to what they believe. I don't know. It wasn't told to me. But I am an individual who is a messenger, who will deliver, who will pay forward, who will uplift, who will validate how important you are. But I promise you, I'll never, ever stop saying Angel. And that's not to be disrespectful, that is to honor. When a person is born, a parent, a mother or a father or who is taking care of that child is going to give that child a name. My name is Jonna. And that name is so unique for that individual. And you should always take pride of that name. So it's not that I don't respect who you are as an individual. What I am doing is I know you're making a difference. I know that you are helping someone and you're not even knowing it. I know you too are the messenger. We have 19 more days till Christmas. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Because we just don't know what part of their journey they're on. I am so thankful for I'm able to utilize this format to deliver a message. I too am a messenger. And thank you, Papa. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow on day 7.